Good morning, good night, or good evening, everyone. This is Lord Holland 4293, and today we are bringing you Belfast 43. Now, there's been a lot of criticism and just, oh, this ship is trash, and just everything about this ship has been, picked on. And I'm here to tell you today that every part of it is absolutely false. It is just people that were wanting the OG Belfast, the original Belfast, or were comparing it to her. But the thing is that this ship is not the OG Belfast. It is a completely new Belfast, and just the only reason people hate it so much is because it requires... It's not like the old Belfast where you would literally just smoke up and farm. This one requires a lot of, awareness. You have to be aware of so much more. You can't just sit in your smoke and shoot. You really can't sit in your smoke and shoot. No. That's not what this whole ship is about. So, and I'll let the replays speak for themselves on how to play this ship. Because I want you to watch these replays. All of them. I want you to watch these replays and actually see how I play this ship. Not just skip around. This one, I really recommend watching them. Because this ship requires a finesse. I would consider this ship like RTS CV days. When you master it, it becomes an art form. And it's a very strong ship. Very strong. And it doesn't deserve the reputation that it gets. It really doesn't. Would I pick this ship up? Eventually. But there are a lot more better ships out there, in my opinion. If you want a Belfast, you can get her. And you can take my word for it that it takes a lot of maintenance and a lot of just awareness around the map just to get it right. But we're going to go right into it. Okay, so without a contributor flag, we're looking at 5% to credits, 55 to ship XP, 65 to commander XP, and 100 with the clan, okay? Armor-wise, 16mm bow, armor plate on the side, 19mm, and then you got Citadel plating at 114 with 19mm belt and then 16mm, rear end. And then it's the same on the side. Okay, so let's pull some of this armor. Take off that, take off that. That's your Citadel. That is a waterline Citadel right there. That is easy to hit. Very easy to hit. It does not take much to really hit this at all. No. This thing is like Citadelable. So you'll have to be aware of showing broadsides against battleships. You will die real quickly. Now, survivability wise, it's on the light side. Very on the light side of 33 or 38,400. Torpedo protection wise, it's pretty poor. Very poor. At 4%. You take Torps in this thing, you're going to be feeling it. It's not uncommon that if you take Torps in this thing, as I experienced in my replays, you'll take a lot of damage. Just a lot of damage, because there's just nothing there to really protect you against Torps. Which is ironic, because it honestly kind of fits the ship. Because anyone that has seen Belfast or has, studied her history knows that she was not a very fortunate ship. She took magnetic mines and she just was out of the war for like almost half the war because of her design. And I feel like in terms of design-wise, they really incorporated how her survivability works into this model. I think it is one of the most historically accurate models in terms of survivability, because you'll get punished really bad. Now, armor for artillery-wise, she gets 12 152 millimeter guns, 3 and 4 turrets, and then she gets, well, 6 dual mount 102 millimeter guns, firing range at 15.4. Now the main armament has a 10-second reload without grease the gears, which I really would recommend taking. Either a Jack Dunkirk, Burt Dunkirk, or even just a normal commander. It drops down, but at base it's like 25 seconds for a 180. That's a pretty big difference. So you want to take grease the gears. Max dispersion at 130, so very reasonable. HE max damage is 2450 with a 9% of fire, 30 millimeter armor pin, and then max AP damage at 3100. Now the velocity is not bad. It's not great. You really only start to see the velocity when the ship is basically at max range. When the ship is at max range, you really start to see how slow and how, long these shells take. But at short ranges, and around 10 and less than 10 kilometers, the shells are, they don't take long to reach their target. So you'll have ease hitting stuff at short range. Long range, it's going to be a lot harder. Torpedo-wise, she gets basically 6 torp tubes, 3 on each side, 6-second 180, 72-second reload, 8-kilometer range, 16,000 max damage, and a 61 max knot with a 1.3 detectability range. So I would really only recommend using these torps if you're like close. You can try using them at max range and hope they drive into them. It's very possible. And these are Royal Navy torps, so you can single fire launch these torps. That is a huge bonus. OG Belfast does not get torps. These are single launch torps, and they do have damage, but you got to use them at the right circumstance and everything. Now, depth charge wise, not the best. Max 5,000 damage, 2 charges, 3 bombs in each drop load, or in each charge. That's absolutely crap. You're not going to be fighting subs. I'm sorry, but you're not going to be fighting subs in this thing. Your main damage is DDs, cruisers, and battleships. And lone carriers, if you can find lone carriers. Now, AA-wise, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's crap also. You get 8 Orlaika machine guns, 5 dual mount Orlaika machine guns, 2 pom-pom guns on each side. As you can see them right there. Pom-pom guns right there. And then you get the 6 dual mount 102 millimeter guns. Continuous damage, 147. Short range, 144. Mid range, 81. And long range, 81. Very terrible damage. Let's be honest. Max shell explosion, you get 4 flak bubbles, 90% hit chance. Active range of 3.5 to 5.8. Average, but not the best. Let's be honest. And the AA range, of course, is 5.8 max range. Not the best AA. Against maybe a tier 6 CV and maybe a poor tier 6 CV, you could survive. A tier 6 CV that knows what he's doing, probably not. Let's be honest. Maneuverability-wise, 33 knots, 680 turning circle, 8-second rudder shift with the modules and everything. And then full concealment is 8.9. So you do have stealth radar, technically, by 0.1. 0.1 is your stealth radar. So if you get detected, you can pop your radar and just push into them, and then radar, and then just do what you can. Now, equipment-wise, I did main armaments 1, engine room protection, aiming systems mod 1, steering gears, and concealment. Now, with the build and everything on there, you get damage control, 3 charges of hydro, 6 charges of smoke, short burst smoke, and then 3 radars. Now, the short bursts are basically there to, well, in my opinion, attack, attack, attack. These aren't smokes to basically, you know, sit back and just farm. These are meant to be on the aggressive side and actually push into your targets. Use the smoke, smoke up, radar, farm, shoot. You get about 20 to 30 seconds of no smoke. Then you get your next charge. You smoke up again. And you keep advancing using that slow smoke train. So if you could get, like, say, if you were in a division with a Haida, that'd work really well using the crawling smoke. And then you get 3 charges of radar. Now, the reload on these are 2 minutes, but they get an action time of almost 30 seconds with a 9K range. So you want to use these guys, you know, when you really need to. You can't just throw these radar charges away because you need these charges. Use these guys carefully. Now, for the build, again, Belfast is not a ship that you can throw any captain on. I actually had to look around in my port to find a captain that I could just throw on. I had to choose my audacious captain, which is 18 points. And I still have 5 points left over because I wanted to have points left over. But this is basically it's a 13-point build. This got me by. So what I did was grease the gears, consumable enhancements for my smoke generator, hydro, and my surveillance radar. All benefits that. Then I did adrenaline rush, superintendent, and then concealment to expert. After that, you can pick on whatever you choose. I honestly thought about doing demolition expert and then IFHE. So let's put on IFHE right now. Your fire chance drops to 0%. You put demolition expert on, you gain armor pen of 37 millimeters, but you get a 6% chance of fire. So that is a valid build right there. You could do this and still have a decent fire chance. Not great, but not bad. So that build would work. You'd still have some fire chance, and you gain more armor pen. So this is what I would recommend. But again, this is basically 19 points. That would leave you 2 more points left. For that, I would probably go Gunfeeder and Last Stand. So I could actually still steer my ship, because the rudder will get knocked out if you're unlucky. This is what I would put for a Belfast build. I even talked to some of my guys in Bonky, and one of them said use a Goliath captain, but I had to look at it from a different perspective. I think if you're going to buy Belfast 43, use this build, and you will do good. And then after that, it's just about taking it and learning the ship. But let's get into the replay, and we'll show you how Belfast works. Good morning, and today we're at Belfast part 1 of the replay, or review. So, we've got Wacky in a Hornet. We've got a Nebraska. You've got a Richelieu, Hood, Harlem, and a Lazo. And then me in Belfast. Okay? And I say right then, I'll take Southern CV. Because I'm going to go south. Yeah, like I mentioned in the specs part of the video, this ship is... The reason she's so downgraded is because, well, people expect to get OG Belfast, and they get this shit. So of course they're gonna dock it down because it's not OG Belfast. Now, right off the bat, you know, it's always the slowest. Wacky's going on the DD. He's going to attack that DD.
All stations. This is key to success. Send them all to Davy Jones fast. Enemy battleship detected.
Now, he starts shooting the DD because, you know, like, and the hood is like honking at me. Like, hey. But I need to get around him. I do about 1600 in the DD, and then load AP to try to get some damage on it. You see the battleships and everything are shooting. I get around 60-some hundred damage. Not the best, but it works. I switch back to HE and I'm gonna go for the battleship now. I do pick up the Aoba with secondary, which is just hilarious. So I'm at 14,000 damage right now. I get a fire on it, so that's permanent. I'm gonna try to stack some more damage on it. Hornet, Wacky picks it up with the flood. And you can see that the Nebraska is clearly gonna go south. You mean, you can clearly see he's going south. And you can see the bombers up thinking, okay, he's gonna go kill this. I already knew just by watching and everything, he was gonna go for the CV. I mean, that was not, you know, I knew that was gonna happen. And it is, you know, it's frustrating because, you know, hey, I called the CV. But in hindsight, he probably saved me. As I said, this thing is fairly lightly armored. So it was probably a good thing he had his bombers come south.
This is Raptor. Enemy aircraft carrier detected.
Because you'll see in the very end how I come back into play to help protect and, well, secure this win. Now, I want you to watch the cruisers. Watch all these cruisers for me, okay? I'm going to be focused going down to the CV. I pop Hydro because they're right there. They're going to be dropping Torps on me. They always do. And I know the Nebraska's coming in, so I just go for the CV. I generally recommend going for the cruisers and everything. But I already know that those cruisers over there, like the Aoba and the Mogami, they've launched Torps. Yep, and there's the Torps that I knew were coming. And I had Hydro ready to detect them. So I'm safe. But you see, had I kept going straight, I would have taken a Torp.
The ship is on fire.
I'm going for the DD because I want him gone, because he's what worries me. I do drop Torp on the CV.
The ship is on fire. Torpedoes, direct front.
And again, you know, the Hydro is saving me. You want that Hydro running. And I missed those Torps, thankfully. Ayoba is shooting AP at me now, and I can bounce that AP on my bow. So, I just Citadel him. 12,000, and then 34,000 on the CV. But I'm not going to get the kill. Nebraska comes in and kills me, or kills the CV. There's the Torps, but he hits the CV wreck.
The ship is on fire.
He does get a fire on me. So I don't DCP. I turn back in so he loads HAP. And then I hit him again.
Problem solved, sir.
But as you can tell, I could have taken this whole side down. I was kind of low, as you can tell, but I was fine. Now, as you can see, the Ayoba went right up that side and sunk our Hornet. I've never seen that happen before. I don't know how in the hell that happened, but when we look at the health of the Hood, or the Harlem, he took a lot of damage. Like, a lot of damage. Like, he took at least 2 Torps. And it hurts having our Hornet gone. I was like, what the hell happened? I was so busy fighting down there, I wasn't even paying attention. And even doing the replay again for you folks, I still don't know what happened. He says, thank God our Nebraska was too busy helping with killing a carrier to protect his own. He was, Wacky was slightly salty over that. Now it is concerning because I have to literally get ahead of the CV now. I have to get ahead up to the CV and get my health back. So it is worrying. Hood's so low on health. Harlem's low on health. Richelieu's just kind of fiddling in the back. And the Laszlo's kind of there. Is the only one that can protect the CV. So it's like, oh, it's scary.
Raptor, Task Force Commander here. Transmitting rendezvous point. Do you copy?
This is Raptor. Roger. Adjusting course.
Enemy cruiser detected.
And I start shooting on the DD to try to get this down. Because you saw the Torps came in. The arsenal is gone, so we lose that star. They drop Torps on literally. The Laszlo goes down. He has Hydro. The Raptor's half health. So that's like, oh, not good. I don't know how he died, but that's like, it was scary. You can see the Raptor is slowly gaining health back, but it's like, it's not great. It's not great at all. And that Mayoko is, I'm telling you, shoot the Mayoko. Because once he comes around, he's going to just delete the CV with Torps and everything.
This is Raptor. Multiple targets detected. Setting up to take cover behind the nearest island. Full ahead.
And it's worrying. I do pick up the Ayoba finally. And then you see the Itago shoots the CV. Or Mayoko. They do get it with a good salvo there, Harlem. And then I'm trying to get, because I'm worried about the Torps. Because the Torps, you know, are in the back of the Mayoko. So it's like finding that range. And I pick up the kill. The Torps did launch, but the Richelieu went straight in front of him and took all the Torps that were meant for the Raptor. The Raptor would have died had the, you know, the Richelieu not taken Torps.
This is Raptor.
So, you saw how close it was. And then we got these cruisers coming down to the south.
Time for repairs required.
And there's still the CV we still gotta kill.
Dropping a
So,
strain would make sense.
it's an uphill battle. And like you see, I don't have that much health. I don't have much health at all. Pop my hydro just in case, and I smoke up.
Dash it all.
The battleship is still spotting, so I can just farm at this point. It's not the best smoke, but it has to work.
Smoke screen set.
I'm just trying to put as much damage as possible on these guys. He gets a Citadel on Yohagi, and I'm doing small amounts of chunk damage, small amounts of chunk.
By thunder.
It adds up. He gets a fire on Mogami, he GCPs it. Hood gets a really beautiful salvo and just takes it out.
I owe you one.
I get a fire, that's permanent.
By thunder.
My fire picks up the Yohagi, he's gone. So now I have to go forward and protect the CV. I've got about 8,000 more health back. So I've got to push. I can't just afford to sit here. These guys are broadside to me, and they're going to come into me. But I still try to stay in the heal circle as long as possible.
Generator started.
I pop my
All stations.
smoke, and I put keep just to kind of allow the Raptor some smoke. I didn't know if I would need it.
This is Raptor.
But they turn in,
I can't
so I can get their Citadel inside now.
Smoke screen set.
Tago's broadside to me. Get a nice 6K salvo. And I'm watching because I'm worrying about because the Raptor is moving. Harlem is going to take Torps from the, well, Atago. So it's literally up to the Hood to kill that Atago. Otherwise, the CV's going down. He does pick up that kill. Now, ideally, you know, there are the cruisers that do spawn at 5:30, but we were lucky and they did not spawn. I did have a heal, I did have a smoke and a radar ready, so I was ready for him. But we still got to kill this CV. Now, I should have had AP loaded. But as you can tell, that the switch time does take time, and I just decided to stick with HE for now. don't think Wacky knows that they would have already spawned by now. Because I was aware of that. But... you know, they... would have already spawned, so I wasn't, like, worried. Like, I probably could have had the CV had I, you know, just had AP loaded more. So, that's on my bad. Nebraska picks it up with a fire. So, 254K. And working my ass off to keep my team from failing this up. It was just very scary. I was like really worried.
This is Raptor. Rendezvous point reached. Task complete.
Yeah, Ayoba Demo took most of my health away, and the Atongo. Oh no, it was mostly the Fubuki and the Ayoba that took all my health away. Fires did a little damage, but not much. Decent profit with the bigger boost. That could have been good money, and that could have been really good free XP. Like, that's really good, and a decent amount of commander XP. Hello and welcome to part 2 of Belfast review. Now, right off the bat, we've got Lexington, Wacky and Lexington. Me and the Belfast. We've got a Ragnarok, Ismo, Edinburgh, Atlanta, and a Bliskovica. I'm thinking, okay, this will be a good match.
The base is under attack.
I can make it work.
Enemies advance until the main fleet forces arrive.
This is Base Commander. Good luck. Try not to lose a single ship and save our base structures from destruction.
Reconnaissance data suggests the principal attack will be launched in 10 minutes. If the outer radius of defense is broken, the attack will begin earlier.
And I started pushing in because I'm like, okay, HE, and I can still have AP that I can citadel these ships with.
The second battery line.
I can still Citadel these cruisers. It's just getting the Citadel. 5,000 right there with a couple pins. So it does Citadel at 8 kilometers, but you can see it does have a little bit of an arc, which isn't the best.
Cruiser.
Again, AP into Yahagi. That's easy to Citadel. Ismo just deletes it, but I do get a little Citadel. Now, our Bliskovica was an amazing player. I mean,
Attention, destroy all
I want him to get back, but watch this guy. Just watch him. I'm gonna shut up. And I want you guys to just watch this guy.
This is Base Commander. Support ship reach Battery 1. Restoring the battery.
I do shoot the Fubuki because, you know, like, well, might as well help. You can see he dropped Torps on both DDs. He picks up that one, and, well, between his Torps and Lexington, he basically picks up the, well, the Moss. So, 2 DDs down.
Smoke generator started.
He drops Torps on the Congo. Congo's going down. I mean, come on.
Smoke screen set.
Enemy cruiser detected.
Between the fires and the floods, yeah. Plus his second set.
Concentrate fire on the target.
Picks up Congo to flood. I'm just farming at this point. That's what Belfast does, so I'm just gonna keep my distance so I don't get deleted. I get a fire, that's permanent. But look at Mr. Bliskovica. There's the Torps.
Reconnaissance reporting. Third attack is about to be launched.
Enemy destroyer detected. Enemy cruiser sighted.
And Baron goes bye-bye. He sunk basically 3 to 4 ships on that wave, which is very impressive. And they're like defensive, more like attack from. Well, that's how you play the op. I always advise attacking on defensive Newport, just because it makes the most sense. I'm detected. Pop up the hydro.
Smoke
And the
generator
smoke.
started. Smoke screen set.
Enemy destroyer detected.
He'll return. He is gonna take a torp from the Blys. But I do pick him up.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
Seven 7,300 on that one DD with one strike. Wacky picks it up. It was a little irritating when he would always go for the same DDs. I'll be honest, it was irritating. It was irritating.
Torpedoes to port. Problem solved, sir. Torpedoes dead ahead.
I just barely missed that torp. Barely.
Reporting. Our carrier successfully entered the combat zone.
Enemy destroyer foundered.
But you see how our team is just kind of all clustered up in that whole area?
Reporting. Enemy cruisers entered the combat zone. They're chasing our aircraft carrier.
Now we do have this wonderful smoke screen that the DD left. Or something. Why not use it? Got a fire that's permanent.
Smoke generator started.
And then I have pop mine, have AP loaded.
Smoke screen set.
Enemy battleship detected.
Reconnaissance reporting. Principal attack is underway.
Now I do single fire on the Torps like that. Because I have 8 kilometer range. But he just gonna drive the last 2 kilometers into the Torps.
Smoke generator started.
I really should have had Hydro running.
Smoke screen set.
He's gonna take 2 Torps up.
Enemy destroyer sighted.
I really should have had it. I am detected by the Hydra, so I have to move out. But this is where I screw up.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
This is Base Commander.
There's the
Aircraft
Torps.
Carrier Lexington reached the base.
It hits my back and it just kills me.
Problem solved.
But I
sir.
have a heal. There's a smoke, but I just can't get it off soon enough.
Smoke generator started.
He shoots just before I'm able to go dark and, well, kills me. Again, if I had had my Hydra running, I would have killed him. But I mean, 183,000. Very respectable damage. And we're going to end up with a 5-star op. Okay, so that went pretty well. I did take that Torp, but still 500,000. Almost 200k. Really nice command free ship XP and command and free XP. Damage wise, and I made top of the team, beating everyone. Like, and maybe it's because I did damage to this guy and then a lot to the DDs, but not a huge amount of damage. Not much really hit me for damage. It was mostly the 1 Torp. I mean, together they kind of added up, but that 1 Torp really hurt me and kind of screwed me over. But for overall impressions, it's not a bad ship. It's actually a very good ship.